If you want to get anything done and done right, call the women. Just call the women. And the reason I'm saying this because I had a good question about doing this video earlier about how women can always put aside their differences and they can come together in spite if they can stand each other or not. And I believe me and Pop was just talking about this the other day. I think that was me and you, Pop. Yeah, we was talking about women, especially in the church. Who's doing all things? The woman. And I don't know what the men are doing. Like I said in my old video, you got all these men crying and complaining about women preaching and all that stuff, being in the pulpit when the men sitting down and ain't doing nothing at all. Why is it that pretty much every church, the women is going to outnumber the men? So if you want to get anything done, call on the women. And what's amazing that you can get 10 women in one room and 7 of them can't stand each other. And they can put their little fake smile on. Hey girl. Soon that girl walk out the room, they cussing her out, talking about what she had on, how ugly she looked. But soon as we need to get things done right, the women can pull together. What's up with us, men? I ask this question all the time. What's up with the men? Men can't get along. See, that men get into it. It used to be a man could squash their little old differences and come on back cool. But now, they get into it. It's a big fallout for years. And a woman will cause a scene when it ain't even no scene need to be made. They can get very ignorant. Men can too. I mean, get so ignorant where you don't even want to claim them if they can to you. But they sit right there and agree on what they're going to get ready to do. No matter what it is. Women can come to an agreement and they can't even stand each other. Most women I know don't get along with women. But when it comes to their goal or getting something accomplished, see, one thing a woman to do is sit up and plot and plan on you. While you sleeping well that night, she's sitting there plotting and planning, especially if you done made her mad. That's why sometimes you can wake up and she be dead right there looking in your face. Why you ain't sleep? Oh, I'm just up chilling. Yeah, she up chilling all right, planning something on you. And when you make a woman mad, especially a black woman, when you make her mad, boy, that's worse than the feds coming after you. Because a woman can hold in things for so long. A man can pretty much forget about it. Some men can. But a woman can hold in things for so long and go by every day like ain't nothing happened. And you get into it with her, she'll bring it up to you. It could be 10 years ago, and she'll bring that 10 years right back up to you. And one thing about a woman, they know where to hit you at in your lowest. When you're going through your worst times, a woman can make you feel way more down than you are. But when you see women coming together, whether they like each other or not, they come together and they stick together. When I'm going to say it like this, you can get 2, 3 women to stick together to set a man up when the women can't even stand each other. But they'll be on one accord just to make that man fall down and be destroyed. While us men, we sitting around ain't doing nothing. Talking about the women. Oh, them women doing this, women doing that. But what are you doing, men? And I know I'm going to make a whole lot of men mad with this video, but not on purpose. I'm just speaking what's real and speaking the truth. Women come together. They put away their differences. And I always like to tie that in with church. You got the women ministry. Most women's run the church and the pastor don't. I know y'all ain't going to agree with that. Most women run half of these churches and the pastor don't. And when you get to a point where you got to ask your pastor about certain things, and he get to saying, well, I got to check with the women's ministry. I got to check with sister such and such on this. Well, where's the men at? See, where are the deacons at in these churches? First of all, the deacons don't, we need to get this straight. The deacons don't supposed to run the church. That's supposed to have been done by the pastor, but we are all backwards. Half of these churches don't have a deacon board, so a pastor don't have no choice but to take it over anyway. I'm talking about the finances and everything. See, really, a pastor don't even supposed to be messing around with the finance. Like Mitty Man was just saying in the video, that's supposed to be the trustees. See, it's the difference between a deacon and a trustee. But people don't catch that. We all know trustees deal with the money. So when you don't have trustees and deacons in your church, and the pastor is getting hit with everything, then next thing you got besides that is the women ministry. The other auxiliaries who are ran by all women pretty much. Some churches might have a brotherhood. You might get 2 men to show up. The women are outdoing us in everything. Sunday school, the women. Choir stand, the women. And then in the choir stand, you got the men up there trying to be women. Let me leave that alone. I'm just speaking what's real, people. We done got to the point where women is doing everything, and the sad thing is you got men trying to be like women and want to run the church. Because most churches have allowed any and everything to go on in there. So if you want to get anything done, call on the women, whether they love each other or not. You can see this even when you look at the old crazy shows like Jerry Springer, how the women jump on each other's side half of the time to set a man up. And then you see the women versus the women, but you see a lot of times where women are on each other's side and they can't stand each other. This hatred. Men, we have failed all the way off. We need more men to stand up on what's real. We need more men to take back over their house. Like the Bible teaches us how to be leaders as men. But when you leave the woman all to themselves, men, and you're doing all this complaining and then you done walked out on them, who else is going to stand as the man if Jody ain't creeping in there? Some of these women letting any man, Bo and Joe and Luke in their house every other night in front of their kids. Some of these women don't have a choice but to be the woman of the house because man have failed so hard. And it's hard for a woman to take on everything by themselves. That's why God created us to be equal, but we ain't equal no more. More women are doing everything. Let's look at college. Look at the percentage of women that go to college, and then look at the men. Most of the men not going to college, they going to the penitentiary. They getting killed on these streets. They on the corner selling dope, and now you got kids in the middle. So when you look at it like that, and we are not being equal as woman and man, husband and wife, ain't nobody being equal hardly nowadays. We are in some last and evil days, people. But if you want to get it done, you call on the women. The women are going to do it right. And I know most men ain't going to agree with this video because they don't want to tell the truth. But you can look off inside of the church. You can look off in most job sites. You can especially look in the house home. Ain't hardly no fathers around, no daddies around. It's the woman and the kids. Or it's the woman and grandma. Sad thing is, grandmas are moving on now. Ain't hardly no grandmas left. So they leave the woman by themselves, dealing with it the best way they know how. While we are sitting around complaining and ain't doing nothing, men. Step up, man, and get back to where God had you to be. If you done fall, if you have fell down, get back up. Stop using falling down for an excuse and making up all these excuses, because one thing, the Lord don't want to hear these excuses. And on Judgment Day, it sure ain't going to be no tolerating of excuses. We need our men to come on back, man. Stop being in them streets all night and go home. Don't be so ashamed to get a job. Would you rather keep looking over your shoulder on the streets and taking a risk with your life, or would you rather clock in and don't have to be looking over your shoulder, worried about somebody hating on you, snitching on you, or trying to kill you? You got kids to raise. The Bible say, train up a child in the way they should go, and when they get old, they will not depart from it. But the sad thing is, children are training up children. We got babies having babies. See, the women don't have no problem pulling together. You see women that get each other back when they struggling. Oh, girl, you need some money for your light bill, here you go. Some women can't stand each other, but then you got some women that can get along with others. But my point is, if you see you want to get anything done right, especially in the church, you got to call the women. They'll put the program together, run it, and be on the program and do everything, while most men sitting at the house, chilling, watching sports. ESPN done became everybody God look like for men. Football have became the sanctuary. Basketball done became the sanctuary. The car wash done became the sanctuary. You got more people washing their cars and watching sports on Sunday than serving the Lord. But you see the women in the front row with their kids, taking the kids to church, getting them ready. Some of y'all got a husband at home and you still can't get them to go to church. Some of y'all get up in the morning to get the kids ready. Y'all remember that old video I did called One Prays While the Other Stays at Home. That's why Paul say don't be unequally yoked. You can't walk this way and your husband walking that way. It's not going to work. You got to learn how to come together. Because what God puts together, no man should be able to tear apart. You want to get anything done, call the women. Men, step up. God bless.